Nicole Hacko with Royal LePage Top Producers. And so for today's local business of the week, I have John Peterson. And so you're from Castle Pest Control.
That's correct.
So this is your own company that you've started up. And how long have you been in business now?
Better part of a year now.
Okay.
It's a new venture as of the beginning of 2018.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about your background and what got you into starting up your own business.
Sure. So I had worked for one of the larger companies for about 5 years before making the decision to go solo and doing it on my own. One of the big driving pushes to kind of get into the industry for myself was I had been working for these large companies as their trainers and been a part of some of their policies that they develop over the course of the years. Towards the tail end of working for this larger company, which I'm not going to go into the name or whatnot, but towards the tail end of it, I found that some of the policies had kind of been moving in a direction I didn't really agree with, mainly in terms of how they're dealing with client retention and dealing with pricing, how they structure procedures for doing the overall services in an effective manner. So I kind of decided to develop them more for my own liking and how I found them to be more effective just from experience.
Right, so you kind of found like a space in the market to develop your own company and,
Yes.
and fill that void.
Yep.
So can you tell me maybe how you're different from another pest control company that somebody might call?
Okay. So primarily one of the biggest differences that we have from the smaller operators is that we utilize digital reporting. So through using digital reporting, it allows us to basically, when we come into somebody's home and we're looking for structural concerns, for example, when we're dealing with mice, people want to know where the mice are getting in so they're not coming back in the future. Some companies do this well, some companies don't do it as well. A lot of people can get tied up with companies where they're giving written reports and not really clear direction on how to get this done. So the digital reporting has pretty much enabled us to attach photos. So if I find something that needs clear correction, we can document it, attach it to the report, submit it by email. Everything we do is paperless, so more or less a green initiative on that front, so that if, let's say, work can't be performed by a homeowner, they can then pass along to the contractor that they're going to use to do the work, and they have a clear idea of what exactly needs to be done. So that's one portion of what we're doing. The other side of it is that we want to offer strong warranties on the services. So a lot of companies in the city, the bigger companies, national companies, they do offer these warranties, and for good reason. It basically keeps the technicians accountable. So if they're coming in and doing a service, it basically means that they do the inspection, they put all the product down, but it keeps them accountable for coming back, because they need to be able to get the service done as quickly as possible or they're coming back for free. So some companies have you pay every time they come back. What we do is you pay one flat fee for the inspection and the service to be performed. Should we not get it under control in the desired window, it doesn't happen too often, but sometimes challenges can come up, we're coming back for free. And you're not paying any extra money because you have that guarantee on the service. So that's one of the most important things.
Okay, and so we had talked a little bit before, and you had mentioned that you kind of have a different approach when it comes to like getting rid of a pest, in terms of you think more like the chemical poison route should be like last resort.
Yeah, it's more of a last measure. So what we do is called integrated pest management. So when you're looking at integrated pest management, it's basically encompassing all the factors that create an issue and how to resolve it, with pesticide being at the last resort there. So when we're looking at, say, mice or even bed bugs, for example, or cockroaches, things like that, we're looking at structural concerns for how they're getting in, correcting those so mice are getting in further. Things like cockroaches and bed bugs, it might be a bit different with cockroaches because it's usually attached to a sanitary concern. So sanitary concerns, we find those, get them corrected, and then we use trapping methods to try to catch as many or vacuum out as much of them as possible. What you don't want to do is have a company come in that's going to come in and basically apply pesticide throughout the home, because that's going to drive them into the structure. It's going to make the job more difficult. So a lot of people kind of get tied up where they get initial lower price to come in, and the result is that they're basically going for a quick band-aid fix. And while it can appear that the issue is resolved, it tends to come back at a later time. We come in a lot after other companies where they've come and done that simple solution at a cheaper price, but then we're coming in and we're having to do a more invasive process because the first company didn't do the proper procedures. Integrated pest management is kind of something that food plants and food auditable sites utilize, and it's basically, we're looking at it so that exclusion or sanitary concerns get removed, followed by the mechanical measures for trapping and catching. So if you have flies in a kitchen, you're going to put in a fly light, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, pesticides would be the last resort, so spray applications or rodenticides, things like that.
Yeah, okay. So now you had mentioned like a couple different pests already. Like the first thing I always think about is like mice, and it just makes you get the creepy crawlies right away.
And that's generally what people call us for the first time around. I mean, when people are looking for an exterminator, usually that's kind of what starts the relationship.
Yeah.
Usually that or wasps, because people aren't too keen on getting bits, taking down wasp nests.
Okay. What is maybe like a tip for like a homeowner that maybe you see like a common problem where like a pest issue always starts or something like that?
So most of the time when we come into homes, when it's related to rodents, mice, rats, those types of things, generally speaking, an exterior inspection every fall, well before the cold comes, can really make a difference. So checking things like air conditioner lines, exhaust vent covers for like the dryers or for furnaces, things like that, hydro lines that are going through the structure. Basically anything that's going to penetrate through a wall could have a gap, but if it's got a 1/4 inch gap around it, that's enough for a mouse to get in. And a 1/4 inch is very small, yeah. So if you can put basically a pencil, a pen through the hole if it's round, or a 1/4 inch and it's a flat, wide opening, well, that's enough for a mouse to get in.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and usually the remediation is, you get some steel wool or copper weave placed into it, and then we always recommend using spray foam as well, because that kind of cures and weather protects it, so it's not going to corrode over the next season. So.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Do you have any other fun tips or anything you want anybody to know about you?
I've been in River Park South 15 years. I mean, I grew up here, and my wife and I bought our first house here, which we're currently living in, and the home base for the business. And we've been happy. It's a great neighborhood.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's been pretty warm and welcoming.
That's awesome. All right, so we've got all the contact information up there on the screen. So if you have any questions about pests, if you want tips, if you want like a walkthrough of your home or anything like that, you can reach out and get everything under control.
You bet.
All right, thank you so much, and take care, River Park South.
Great. Thanks for having me.